Somebody said, anyone got an idea of what we should do as a stage set? Geezer said, Stonehenge. And the guy said, well, how do you envisage this? And he said, life-size.
And brand new member, Ian Gillan. Hello. Good to have you all here in the studio tonight.
Look at this album sleeve. Look at this magnificent album sleeve.
Ian Gillan, what the bloody hell is that going to sound like?
I made one record and did one tour, and it lasted about a year, and it was the longest party I've ever been to.
We got together and started writing, and it was good. We had a bloody laugh, I tell you. If nothing else, we had a laugh.
Bev stood in really quick actually when Bill had to leave due to illness again.
Before we knew it, it was number 4 in the British charts, and we heard a copy of it, and the sound was dreadful.
Fingers crossed for a remix one day. I think it would do well if it was. Then came the real problem, because I couldn't get into my brain any of these lyrics. I couldn't understand them. So I made a cue book, and I practiced in my kitchen before I went away, turning the pages over with my foot. And I realise now that I'm standing shoulder high in dry ice, staring at an audience that's just witnessed what it's seen.
And he had his hair down like this, going like this, and he goes, trying to see the lyrics.
Ian Gillan had risen to fame in one of Black Sabbath's 1970s rivals, Deep Purple, the voice behind such classic rock staples as Smoke on the Water and Highway Star. He would leave that band in June of 1973 and release a number of solo albums and projects.
I'm still very proud of the music we made, but if I look at the albums that we made, I can see a formula to a certain extent. The first track on an album would always be a fast rock and roll number, and then it would go through. I mean, I was very pleased with the music. It was good, and I was not in any way ashamed of it, but I felt there was a time to add a new dimension to it.
Meanwhile, Black Sabbath blazed its trail to success, first with the voice of Ozzy Osbourne.
Ozzy's, he's in a great tradition of British musical lunatics. I think this trend started probably by Screaming Lord Satch, and I think he's wonderful. He's very consistent.
Will he ever be surpassed, do you think?
Who, Ozzy?
Yeah.
I hope so, but I can't see it happening. But it would be great if somebody else came along, even more lunatic than him.
Yeah.
It'd be wonderful. I mean, I remember his frustration once he came into the dressing room, and we were doing a show with Gillan and Black Sabbath, quite a lot of bands in Frankfurt, and Ozzy came in weeping on my shoulder, said, I wish I could do what you did. And he said, what's that? I said, what's that? And he said, have the guts to leave Black Sabbath. He said, I've got this nightmare I'm going to be singing Paranoid when I'm about 90. And if I'd known then what I know now, I'd have said, well, don't worry, I'll do it for you, Ozzy.
After years of turmoil and drug use, the band was forced to find a new voice for its next chapter. Rainbow's Ronnie James Dio would give the band a renewed sense of energy, but it wasn't long before the ranks of Black Sabbath would be victim to turmoil again.
In Sabbath, the lineup of Tony and Geezer with Ronnie Dio and Vinny Appice lasted for 2 albums before trouble arose. The problem centered around mixing a live album.
The engineer who was doing the product was drinking a lot, and he would tell Tony and Geezer that Vinny and I were going into the studio and turning up the drums and the vocals.
We'd go in the next day and go, what the hell's happened to the guitar and bass? And the engineer would go, well, Ronnie changed it all, he brought all the vocals up more. And
I couldn't understand why they would listen to an idiot who was drinking a bottle of Jack Daniels every day. You know, it made no sense to me.
So he came next up with banned Ronnie from the studio. Wouldn't let him come in, you see, and that's, of course, that's when that was the final straw. It just broke up.
Ronnie and Vinny left Sabbath.
And just when things looked brighter than ever for the group, fans were hit with another change. Dio left Black Sabbath to be replaced by original Deep Purple lead singer Ian Gillan. time the frontman was lost and regained, Sabbath's legions of fans swung around in step. For many bands, changing lead singers could mean a loss of their signature and identity. I asked Ian Gillan what he thought it was about Sabbath that could allow them to go on despite those switches.
The basic thing that I noticed as soon as I met Geezer and Tony was the fact that they still had a lot of hunger. And I think the identity, or the image of Sabbath hasn't changed that much, even though they went from Ozzy to Ronnie. I mean, it's the power of the band, the identity, the image was still there.
There was sort of that little, I don't know, incestual thing between Deep Purple and Sabbath. I don't think it was meant to be that way, was it?
Very peculiar how all that happened. I mean, it turned out every time we changed the member, somewhere along the line, it'd been with Deep Purple. So it's like,
or went to Deep Purple or something like that.
Right, yeah, or something offshoot, like with Ronnie and Rainbow and stuff.
But you had Ian Gillan.
Ian Gillan, we had Glenn Hughes.
Ian, still is. He's a great friend, and I still speak to him a lot. I think he's a real good vocalist. It's certainly identifiable, his voices.
I'm a blind man. I'm a blind man. Now my room is cold. When a blind man cries,
I lost touch with Sabbath's career over the last few years, working with my own band, and they hadn't done so much work in Europe and the Far East, where I was mainly concentrated. And I mean, I thought they were tax exiles laying on a beach somewhere.
At this time, Black Sabbath was being managed by the notorious Don Arden. The next choice for a singer would actually come from him.
Me and Tony just decided to scrap the name Sabbath and just form a band, not Black Sabbath. So, and we were mismanaged by Don Arden at the time, so he suggested getting Ian Gillan into the band. Ian Gillan, how the bloody hell is that going to sound like?
I got a phone call from Tony Iommi saying, you fancy a drink?
You two guys, that's Tony and Geezer, you contacted him, did you?
Well, it was all arranged via the office and by your office, and we met in a pub in Oxford. It's one of those sort of meetings that we went halfway.
So I went out for a drink at the Bear in Woodstock with Tony and Geezer, and we met at lunchtime, and I can't remember much after that. We had a few drinks, and we were apparently we went in for lunch, and then in the evening they wanted to open for dinner, and we had to be, I don't know who drove me home or whatever.
I think we got there about lunchtime or whatever it was. And of course the chat went on to 5, 6, 7. Before you know it, we were all legless, absolutely rotten.
Geezer, Butler and I were under the table as far as I remember. I got a phone call from Phil Banfield, my manager, the next day, saying, Ian, if you're going to make these major decisions, career decisions, he said, I think we should talk about it first. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, well, apparently yesterday you agreed to join Black Sabbath. I said, well, I don't remember that.
And somehow we came out of there and we got a band together. And very peculiar thing. Yeah. And Ian didn't even know either. Did that happen? What happened? Well, I don't know. I think we arranged to have a play together. Oh. And that's what happened. That's how silly it was. I mean, that's how we started. The next thing we were doing, we were into rehearsal, writing an album.
So that's how it came about.
And that band really was put together on paper. We'd never rehearsed. It was only like, it seemed a good idea at the time.
Jeff Nichols would retain his position on the keyboards. The next step for Black Sabbath was the recruitment of a drummer. Original drummer Bill Ward, who had left during the Heaven and Hell tour, had seemingly beaten his battle with substance abuse.
I had a heavy drinking problem.
Really?
Yeah. I had a heavy drinking problem, which I've now managed to arrest.
Hey, well done.
So, yeah, and I feel pretty good about it.
That's cool. You look really well.
Yeah, I feel pretty good. Yes.
Terrific.
Yes. So, you know, that was a lot of the problem, to say the least. Yeah, a hell of a lot.
Did you do any playing whilst you were off sick?
Not really. I tried. I had several efforts at trying different things. All of them unsuccessful. You know, everything that I touched turned.
So, did you contact Tony and Geezer with reference to joining the band back, or did
we were still in touch with it? We were still in touch all the way through. We might have drifted apart a little bit. We've never drifted, you know, we've never sort of gone, you know, oh, sod you and all that bit, you know. I mean, I've always been, you know, thinking about the guys and stuff, you know, they're always there all the time, every day, you know.
At that time, he'd started trying to get himself together, and he was, he'd gone to AA, and he was in detox. And we called him and said, come and, you know, do the drumming on this new album. And Bill said, I don't know whether I can handle it, you know. I've got to stay in detox until I'm well enough. So I said, oh, come on, you'll be all right.
I had just enough energy to go to England and go to Oxford and record at the Manor Studios the album Born Again. That was the very first album ever in my life that I played clean and sober.
And I think the identity, or the image of Sabbath hasn't changed that much, even though they went from Ozzy to Ronnie. I mean, it's the power of the band, the identity, the image was still there. And I certainly think that continuity has been perhaps the key to people staying loyal. And I think certainly with rock bands anyway, they tend to be a lot less fickle than perhaps supporters of other kinds of music. So you've got to do something really awful to actually get rid of your fans, you know.
Once the media learned of this new formation, they were understandably curious.
They had a big press reception when they got together, and Ian already looked a bit uncomfortable and unsure of himself, even before he'd actually sung with the band. So it was a bit debatable whether he really was committed to Black Sabbath.
Ian wouldn't wear leather like the other guys, so he went and got a blanket and cut a hole in it and put it over his head, and that was his outfit.
Some people were surprised, but when you think about it, it really does make a lot of sense in that you obviously share the same background as Ian.
Well, that's right, yeah. I mean, we were both from the same stable, and like with him with Purple and us with Sabbath, and we were both neck and neck, really, so it's great being able to team up now.
I was the worst singer Black Sabbath ever had. It was totally incompatible with any music they'd ever done. I didn't wear leathers, I wasn't of that image. I loved Tony, loved Geezer, but by God, we had a good year. I think the fans probably were in total state of confusion.
The newly formed Sabbath, dubbed Deep Sabbath by some, settled into Richard Branson's picturesque manor house in a quaint Oxfordshire village to make the album. But of course, Black Sabbath don't do quaint.
Well, there were quite a few things that happened during that time, including the night racing, the canal trips, the explosions, lots of explosions. We had a good pyrotechnics guy, Andy, who was, I don't know how he ever got licensed, but it was pretty incredible.
So we wrote some songs, and we went to record at the Manor, at the Richard Branson's place. And I'd never been there. Ian had worked with Branson, known Branson through his past dealings.
Virgin tycoon Richard Branson would also occasionally turn up to check on his house guests.
Ian and Richard got on very well, and I think Richard probably had a few glasses of wine with Ian, and they went out to play. Running around the manor, throwing snooker balls at the windows, breaking them, and I'm staying there thinking, you own this place.
Ian said to me before we went, he said, of course, I'm not staying in the house. I went, what do you mean? Because we all lived there, you know. Yeah. He said, I won't be in the house. He said, I shall have a marquee outside. Oh, God. I said, you serious? He said, yeah, I'm going to have a marquee outside. Okay. Thinking he's having me at it, you know. Yeah. Sure enough, I'm driving up to the manor. I saw this marquee outside. He's serious.
it was mostly a camping session for me.
It was for you,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And poor old Bill found some fish in his wardrobe, didn't he, one day?
The camping thing Ian's on about, it was Ian's idea to sleep outside in the at the manor, and he had all his camping stuff up, and you had a marquee up there, set up outside, didn't you, with all your cooking stuff and everything, and
cooked me breakfast.
He'd done everything outside. It was his healthy.
Yeah. Till I got blown up. It was a health kick. Yeah, it was just my nature boy, wasn't it?
I said, well, why is this? Why you know? He said, my voice, I like to be, out in the open air. Oh, okay.
Right.
That was his excuse. Yeah. So we won't go any further than that.
No.
And so we did.
Well, you guys were up all night. You were up at the nightclubs or goodness knows where. And I used to see you coming back in the morning. When I used to get up and cook me breakfast.
That's right.
You guys would just be arriving back from Birmingham.
Yeah.
Or wherever you'd been.
Yeah.
And you'd go to bed. As I went in the studio and we'd wave at each other as we were passing.
Yeah.
And I'd have a listen to what you'd recorded the day before and sit down and make up the words and the tune to it. And then I'd finish about tea time and cook me supper with Ian the gardener.
That's it.
And you guys would get up and have your breakfast, and then you go into the studio and work till about midnight, and then you go out clubbing.
That's right.
Amazing experience.
And then come back and blow you up.
And blow me up again, yeah.
We had all these bombs that we had from off the tour, all these what they're called, stage bombs.
Yeah.
And we had all the metal things that you put them in and all that. Anyway, we decided to set these things up round his tent one morning to frighten him. So they planted him in the ground and all the rest of the rubbish. And it was right the side of Richard Branson's lake where he had all those prize fish. So we put the bombs around there, and we waited till he got in there, and sure enough, bang! And the bloody tent just went whoosh, like this. It just took off. And Ian's standing there in the tent, and it's gone. But the worst of it was, all the concussion went through the lake.
Yeah.
And all these prize fish, he killed some of them and stunned some of them. Richard Branson's fish. Oh no! I mean, it really backfired. Of course, he hit the roof. I mean, he weren't at all pleased with that. but it was just the first of many things that happened with Ian, and we had such a laugh.
Bassist Geezer Butler says that Born Again has much the same feel as your very first album.
Well, it did to us because it related a lot for us. The feeling of when we done the first album, the feeling of the band was really, the vibes were great, really exciting. We were excited about doing it, and we'd done it quick in comparison to the last few albums we've done, which have taken a while. We've done this album pretty quick. I mean, the next album will probably show better because we'll have been with Ian and worked with him a bit, So we just met Ian and we rehearsed and wrote the stuff and went and recorded it really fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's certainly got a raw sound.
So hopefully the next one now we'll have worked with each other a while. We can improve from there now.
Which is your personal favourite song on the new album?
I like Disturbing the Priest.
The studio was at a church, and so you can imagine what happened.
Suddenly looking through the control room, there was a priest there, a vicar.
They got a petition together and brought it round complaining about the noise we were making,
And he said, I wondered if we could come to some arrangement. We have choir practice on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and we can't pitch properly because we're hearing your very lovely music. Of course, we'll shut the door and we won't play anything loud while you're having your choir practice.
So then Ian wrote the lyrics to a song called Disturbing the Priest,
For which Black Sabbath got run out of town in Mexico some years later, because the local clergy took it as absolute irrefutable evidence that they were in fact devil worshippers.
Music's there to be enjoyed, and we don't really want political or pseudo-religious zealots getting involved in.
Came back one night and Richard had a go-kart track in the grounds, and I was building a ramp. I was going to jump the lake on my motorcycle the next day. I was planning to, so I had my motorbike there and my helmet and all my kit. and the ramp wasn't quite right, so I hadn't attempted it. And so we'd had a few drinks and decided we bought a fleet of Ford Granadas. Instead of renting cars, we thought we'd buy half a dozen Ford Granadas, one for everyone, and then the roadie was going to sell them at the end of the session. So they thought it would be cheaper. Richard Branson had built a go-kart track, which was big enough to race a car on, but not big enough to overtake, so we decided one night we were going to do time trials. So I had my crash helmet, and I decided I was going to go first. Pete Resty, Tony's roadie, was there, Ian, the gardener, a couple of the girls from the manor, as is contained in the lyrics.
Bill Ward's new car just got delivered, and Bill was having a nap, so I decided to take him for a ride down to the local pub. Mr. Gillen had just purchased a nice rubber raft, an Avon rubber raft with a 25-horse Mercury on it to drive down the canal and meet me at the pub. The next move was to go back to the manor. So Ian got in his boat, I got in the car, I drove the 1.5 miles back to the manor, and I got there before he did. So I decided to pick him up at the outlet, which required driving across a golf course, down onto the go-kart track, and meeting him at the boat launch in his raft. Well, he wasn't there yet, so I decided to start cutting some hot laps on the go-kart track with the car, and developed quite a crowd. Everybody come outside to see what was going on, and had a lot of people watching us as we were flying around the tractor. And when Ian pulled up, he said, "That looks absolutely brilliant, mate." He goes, "I want to try it." So I slid over to the left-hand side of the car, let him jump in the driver's seat. We're in England, remember, now it's right-hand drive. And about a lap and a half into he made one lap around there. On the second lap, he put it in the weeds and hit a big giant chunk of concrete and flipped the car over.
So off he goes round this track. Instead of using his own car, he took Bill's car. And Bill's was actually the best car. He had the best car out of all of us.
I did a load of laps, and I was getting faster on each lap. And I must have clipped a tyre on the previous lap. And as I was hanging out and coming into this bend, there was no way up, and the car just flipped. And I clipped it, and the car went... And I'm flying down the track, upside down, spinning round and round. I could feel my head against the track. It just lifted the car up, and I rolled it like 3 or 4 times. And after flipping a couple of times, it was on its roof, and it was spinning round and going along the track like that.
He almost killed himself, actually. If he'd have gone a bit further, he'd have gone into the pond, which was in the middle.
Are you all right? Yes, I'm fine. I was just getting out of this seatbelt, which is very difficult. The window was open, and somebody said, "Oh, thank God you're all right," and reached for a cigarette. And everyone screamed, "No, no, no," because the fuel tank was ruptured and there was petrol everywhere, so had he lit a cigarette, that would have been fun too.
Ruptured the gas tank. I watched gas run down Mr. Gillen's face to a lit cigarette hanging from his mouth upside down as he hung there from his seatbelt. And this gasoline went right out and put the cigarette out, poof, a little puff of smoke. So I got back close enough to the car to save him and kicked the window out and pulled Ian out.
And I left a notice on there. There's a chalkboard for messages because we didn't see much of each other. And I said to Paul, the tour manager, Paul Clark, I said, "Oh, the car's down on the go-kart track and the keys are in it." You know, I didn't mention the fact it was upside down and trashed. And the next morning I went in and I heard this track that I'd never heard before, this sort of really raunchy sort of up-tempo grinding rock thing. And that was it. I just wrote the words there and then and sang it that day.
New record out from the band. It's called Born Again. Give everybody a look at the cover of Born Again.
Look at this album sleeve. Look at this magnificent album sleeve. But this is an album sleeve that I didn't want to do. I was doing Ozzy album sleeves, right?
Ozzy Osbourne, Diary of a Madman, apparently written by Mick Wall. I can't understand it. But you get all these pieces,
images,
stick them down. Oh, I have to design them, obviously, but stick them down, and then you put this piece of tracing paper over the top, and write intricate instructions to the printer saying how much you love them.
And then what happens after this?
After this, this is the magic. The magic. It turns out.
How
like
very,
this.
very nice. And how long would it take you to design a book cover like that, as compared to something like the Live After Death album sleeve?
This would take me about 5 days.
And this was a political stance by Don Arden to get people that were working for Sharon into his camp. So I was asked to design this sleeve, and it's like, what's the worst idea? What's it called? Born Again. What's the worst idea?
The album sleeve, I don't know what happened there myself, because that was done, you know, by the record company. I mean, we did see it, and as a matter of fact, when we first did it, we started laughing ourselves. We said, oh, they could never use that as album cover. So, of course, we did.
Steve would later say he got the idea from a 1968 cover of the magazine Mind Alive, painting the image and attaching the horns, fangs, and fingernails. The same baby was used for the cover of Depeche Mode's single For New Life. Born Again, the 11th studio album from Black Sabbath, would be released in September of 1983. The album cover is the subject of much debate, but it's nothing compared to the sound of the album. Overall, the band expresses good thoughts about the music for the album. Bill Ward holds his work on the album up in high regard, saying some of his fills and grooves are the best he has ever done, and speaks highly of Ian Gillan.
Born Again, released in September 1983, was an incredibly heavy album, but the combination of Gillan's lyrics and vocals sat uncomfortably alongside Iommi's dark and ominous riffs.
Born Again has to be the worst album Black Sabbath ever did.
Born Again is known as Sabbath's Marmite album. You either love it or hate it.
And the songs, I think, were quite good. Born Again, Zero the Hero, Disturbing the Priest, Digital Bitch, Trashed, you know, a lot of good stuff on there. I love the album. I think it's fantastic. What I didn't like was the way it changed from what I was hearing on the monitors.
Before we knew it, it was number 4 in the British charts, and we heard a copy of it, and the sound was dreadful, you know.
Fingers crossed for a remix one day. I think it would do well if it was.
When it comes to the muffled sound, there are varying opinions. Iommi has said that Gillan was playing the backing tracks so loudly that he inadvertently blew a couple of tweeters in the studio speakers and nobody noticed.
I took home some monitor mixes on a cassette in those days, which I still have, and it still sounds amazing. And then I heard the mix and the production for the first time, and all I could hear was like that. It was as somebody throwing a blanket over the whole thing. And he'll deny it, but Geezer went to London to supervise a remix, and that's what we ended up with. And I think he might have had a slight bent towards the bottom end of the sound, you know, being the bass player.
When he received a copy of the album, it sounded so awful that he threw the tape out of his car window, and it wouldn't be the only time a tape of the album would reach that fate.
I'll be honest with you, we were touring Europe in '83, and we got a cassette of the album, and we heard this song called Zero the Hero, and the driver's side window went down, the eject button got hit, and the tape went out the window and went, what is this shit?
Geezer Butler has said that he heard a horrible mix in the studio, but was told that it would be corrected during the final mixing and mastering phase. Whatever the reason, the band were already on tour and didn't have the time to hear a test pressing.
Terrible record. Disturbing the Priest and Zero the Hero are okay, quite decent. The rest of it is a mess. It sounds like Ian Gillan and Black Sabbath not getting on. They didn't quite know what they wanted to do.
His voice is way too subtle to go with the bludgeoning kind of chunky metal stuff that Sabbath do. It doesn't make sense. It's weird. It might as well have had Kylie Minogue join.
While the quality of the album is up for debate, the success of it isn't, reaching number 4 on the UK charts, their highest position since Sabbath Bloody Sabbath in 1973, also becoming a top 40 on the US charts. Born Again Unmixed Demos and The Fallen was released by a Japanese bootleg company on August the 15th of 2004. Reportedly a tape was in the hands of an ex-girlfriend of Bill Ward's, containing the unreleased track The Fallen, and the in-progress monitor mix that Ian spoke highly of, giving all the fans the chance to hear how the album was supposed to sound like. The tape has different guitar solos and extended pieces of music.
Because we got on tour and Bill couldn't do the tour, Bill Ward, it was on the album, Born Again. He couldn't do it because he started having a lot of problems.
It's totally there, totally sober. And And then I drank again because there was going to be a tour to follow that up. And I tried to get along with the idea of Ozzy not being there. Let's try this with Ian. And I started becoming a lot of fear. And I was unable to share the fears. Instead, I drank behind them.
It was his 6 months that he's been stopped drinking, so I went out and bought him a plaque, you know, Bill Ward, 6 months and stopped drinking, congratulations and so on. I got back to the bloody house with it and he was drunk. And I couldn't believe it. I went, oh no.
We didn't take him on a tour properly because we didn't want to get him back into drinking again. Because his old thing, he has to stick to his programme of non-drinking and, you know, go to regular AA meetings and stuff like that. Right. And we found when we brought him to England, when we done the Born Again album, he couldn't find proper facilities for his, you know, for his counselling and stuff. He couldn't find proper people here, like he can in America. I mean, people take care of you a lot because there's a lot of alcoholism there.
I mean, there's no way you would have handled it, say, for instance, this last tour we've just done of Europe, because you can't very well go to reception parties and stuff, and everybody's drinking, and you're a recovering alcoholic, and everybody's drinking around you, and you're standing there going, oh, what do I do? You know, it's very hard. I mean, it was very hard for him.
I became so ill again that I was ready to go into a hospital and try and get well. And that was, I went back into the hospital in January the 2nd, I believe it was, or the 3rd, 1984. And I haven't had a drink or a drug since.
Part of the Born Again concept is that you now have Bev Bevan in the band of ELO fame.
Bev stood in really quick, actually, when Bill had to leave due to illness again.
Yeah.
And Bev's been doing the tour with us, and he'll be, I think, a member of the band now, will he?
Well, his loan is from ELO is becoming more and more permanent, and I think we'd all like him to stay.
You guys are buddies, aren't you?
Yeah. Well, I can't stand Bev personally.
Well, at least on stage.
No, he's great. He's great. Fits in great. He's also going potty now because he's got a chance to really play loud, you know. I think over the last few years he's been fairly constrained in what he's been able to do.
Yeah.
And like all drummers like going berserk, you know, so he's loving it.
You came from an entirely different kind of music. You had been with ELO, the Electric Light Orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
You were playing kind of a soft rock. Now you're into the big, heavy metal.
Yeah.
That was a big change for you.
Well, I guess it was, but I started off playing real heavy rock and roll music. That's the sort of drumming I like to do. I started many, many years ago, around before Jesus Christ here was born. Playing in a band called The Move. We did a lot of heavy stuff in those days, and then ELO sort of mellowed out rather, and I got a little bit lazy. But now there's no chance of that now with these guys. I have to work hard every night. Well, I just joined. I'm the Lewis member, and I don't find any one of them evil at all. The friendliest guys in the world.
Bev, a lot of people said ELO, but they tend to forget that he was part of The Move, one of the original heavy bands.
I mean, people would think of Bev as being, well, you know, it's a total change to Sabbath. But in actual fact, Bev's a very, very, very powerful drummer, extremely powerful. And he's very underestimated in this business as far as a drummer-wise. I mean, he's known as a celebrity or whatever. But as a drummer himself is very, very good. He's very powerful, very strong, and just playing with the band for just a short while is improving so much. And first of all, when he first came with us, he says, well, as long as I don't have to do any drum solos, he says, because I don't like drum solos. And we says, okay, fine. The next thing we know, he's doing drum solos and we can't stop him.
This is many years later, and you're still, your new album has a picture of what looks like the baby Lucifer. It's called Born Again, you know, with the long claws and the great-looking kid. You know, you're still at it. Why?
You're good at it.
This new lineup would rehearse between the 7th and 14th of August, 1983 at the National Exhibition Centre in Birmingham, England, with the first concert set for the 18th of August, and of course no Black Sabbath tour can run without some heavy kinks in the wheel.
I remember the day in Birmingham when the LSD, Light and Sound
productions, the guy said, anyone got any idea for a stage set? And Geezer Butler said, here's Stonehenge. And I said, great idea. He said, how do you visualise it? And he said, well, life-size, of course. So they produced a life-size Stonehenge.
When this thing first showed up, we go, bloody hell, is this it, you know? Where are we going to put this?
Well, this is the miniature set.
With the little miniature dolls?
No, that's the miniature Stonehenge, because what happened was that, in fact, the original Stonehenge that we built was bigger than the Stonehenge in Salisbury Plain.
They made a life-size, it wasn't actually, it was about 2/3 scale, but it was still big enough.
It was still too big for
made out of carbon fibre or fiberglass, and anyway.
And it was great, but when we found how actually big it was, we set it all up on the first night and no one could see us.
And we could get about a quarter of it on stage, and we're sort of edging between these huge monoliths and whatever.
The life-size Stonehenge was just the first in a series of Spinal Tap-esque surprises that the manager, Don Arden, had in store for the band. The next one was a little smaller, though.
He said, I just want to introduce you to this chap. And we walked in the room, and there's this little chap with a red rubber suit on with eyes, and bloody hell.
We noticed a dwarf walking around on the day before the opening show. And what's this dwarf? Oh, never mind.
And it was the baby off the Born Again album.
So they had this dwarf dressed up as a baby, the devil's baby, crawling across us, who appeared on top of the Stonehenge, miming to the sound of a baby's scream that was flanged, or phased as it used to be called.
He'd get up and run across the small columns, which weren't small, they're probably 15 foot high.
We stood there in wonderment as this twisted dwarf managed to rise up in the middle and fall away to this echoing baby scream onto a pile of mattresses.
And then jump into the front of the stage and go like this, and his eyes would light up.
And the roadies come out dressed as druids, which is very effective, apart from the Reeboks you can see under their gowns, under their robes, to a tolling bell. And they would then somberly walk across the stage in procession to the sound of a low bell tolling. At which point, we're supposed to go on and open the show. And we're saying to Don, we think this is in the worst possible taste, this dwarf, you know. And Don's going, no, the kids will love it, you know, it'll be great.
And of course you can imagine how that went down with the crew, because they absolutely hated him. Because he was a star, you know, he was one of the chaps off Star Wars, and he kept like, you know. So they hated it, so they'd done everything. They'd put him in boxes and hung him on the stage.
So we started off the show, and the baby in full costume now. So we're watching from the wings. This dwarf comes out in a red costume with the yellow fingernails, screaming. I'm looking at the kids, they're going... Really, I mean, just everyone was bursting into laughter, you know, it was absolutely horrendous. So anyway, the dwarf came out and fell off, and the scream sort of tailed away, and the monks came out with their cowls, dong, the bells out. And you could still hear the screaming in the background. It wasn't the tape, it was the dwarf, because we'd taken all the mattresses away, you see. But the screaming hadn't stopped, and it had taken on a lifelike texture, because somebody had removed the mattress. Somebody in the band. And that was the end of the dwarf.
We were in stitches. I mean, it was so hard to try and go on and do the show after this.
That's right, yeah. Well, we started the tour, and we're having quite a bit of difficulty with doing some of the old stuff with Ian.
I have one more question for you, Ian, because the last we had heard, we knew about the solo thing that you were doing in the band that you had together, and then we heard that a doctor said, don't sing for a year, or you will permanently ruin your voice. What's happened that now you can sing Black Sabbath material?
That's a bit distorted, actually. Once or twice before I've had to take a break. I think every singer gets problems with nodes. All it is like blisters on your tonsils, you know, blisters on your vocal cords. And the problem is when you get blisters on your blisters, then you've got to take a rest, you know. And it's just a simple rescue, and it wasn't a year, it was 6 months. 6 months was plenty, 3 to 6 months.
So you're not going to bow out of this tour in the middle or anything?
No, it's going fine. I haven't got blisters on my blisters at the moment, so everything's fine.
In fact, before we'd done the tour, he was told to stop singing for a while he had some operation on his throat, which he should have done. And we arranged for him to go into the hospital and have the nodes removed from his throat, and he didn't go. So anyway, they seemed to get on all right while we'd done the recording. And then we went on to the tour, and they started going again. He started having trouble with his throat.
I had great difficulty absorbing certain of Ozzy's lyrics. I couldn't understand them. And so the day before we went away, I said to my wife, I said, I cannot soak in these words. There's no storyline, I can't relate to what they mean. And I'm sorry, but Iron Man just wouldn't sink in. And I couldn't grasp it. My head was just not tuned to this.
Much different singing style to what you're accustomed
It's not this. Yes, it wasn't the notes or the style. It was the actual words. I just thought, I don't want to sing this. So I had this book, a display book with plastic pages, and I wrote cues. I wrote the lyrics actually, and I had them put 2 wedges on the front of the stage. They weren't plugged in, but 2 monitor wedges to conceal the book. I practiced turning the pages with my feet in my kitchen at home before I went away, and it worked very well.
Unbeknownst to Gillan is at the beginning of the show they're going to pump dry ice out onto the stage, which comes up to about there. Thick, dry ice.
To a tolling bell, and then the dry ice, which they also didn't do at rehearsal. And I walk out, bearing in mind that Ronnie Dio was the previous singer. And it's great. The audience is fantastic, going berserk and whatever. And I walk out, and they've got the biggest amount of dry ice I've ever seen. They must have had 6 buckets up there. And the dry ice is pumping out, and there's floor spots and everything else. And I'm going around giving it all that, shaking the mic stand around and, yeah. And I suddenly went, oh, shit. I suddenly realised it's my turn to actually go on and sing, and I cannot remember the first line of the first song. It's all too much for me. And I wasn't prepared for this shoulder-high wall of dry ice that came out at a speed faster than I was walking. And so I did a little skip, and it overtook me still. And I realise now that I'm standing shoulder-high in dry ice, staring at an audience.
And he had his hair down like this, he's going like this, and he goes, trying to see the lyrics.
And so I had to fall to my knees, sort of in a dramatic pose, and I'm going, trying to blow the dry ice away.
I was very close there. I was looking at that, and you suddenly get Gillan coming out, and the song starts. He obviously knows the first line, and he's got it. And he's.
But at that point, the floor lights came on and blinded me. In this built into the stage. So eventually, I managed to get the first line. I stand up and sing the first line, but I don't know the second, so I'm going down again. And I heard somebody in the front shout out, "It's Ronnie Dio!"
Quite right. And come on, feel the noise. Now, they supported, I think, Black Sabbath last year, didn't they?
Yeah, October, November, and
now gone on to
December. Oh, they were doing great then. It was pretty, well, not embarrassing. It was good fun having the band that's opening for you getting their album to #1. I remember taking a case of champagne into the dressing room. We were, I think, number 45 at the time in the American chart.
I wanted to talk about the videos. Tony, maybe you can tell us a little bit about...
Don't ask me. Go on.
Okay, Ian.
No, go
We're halfway through it at the moment.
Which tunes are you going to do?
We're doing Trashed and Zero the Hero.
So you're doing 2 then?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we don't know exactly which is going to be used first or exactly how they're going to turn out. It's a conceptual thing which is going to be a combination of some shots taken from some concerts we've done in Canada. And that's going to be overlaid and mixed in with the rest of the story, which has not quite been finalised. They're doing that in London at the moment.
Who's directing the video?
Lindsay, what's his name? The other.
Oh, sure.
The other fella.
Video director Lindsay Clennell would film the band's soundcheck and concert on December the 21st of 1983 at the Montreal Forum, later filming the conceptual segments in London. Clennell has made it known that the concert was filmed in its entirety, so Warner Brothers has a full concert from this era in their possession.
The tour tested the loyalties of Sabbath fans, and the inclusion of Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water was a bit too much for most Sabbath fans to take.
sellout tour went on for the rest of the year, but many fans, both of Sabbath and Purple, gave Ian a hard time.
It's very difficult to have to front another major band, you know, and sing their songs. And I thought he'd done really well.
I mean, we got on great as people, you know. But I don't think it gelled properly like it should have done with the combination as we set up. Well, we found out Ian was already arranging to get the Purple back together anyway.
Oh, so he is, of course, now in Deep Purple with Richie Blackmore. They've reformed.
Well, after the Born Again disaster was over with, I just got totally disillusioned with the whole thing, and I left in, what was it, sometime in 1984 after the Born Again tour. I just had enough of it.
People got involved that stirred it up a little bit, and anyway, Geezer went off and done his own thing, and I done mine.
Get the
gotta listen to the night at the ending of the day. You just gotta listen to the night as safely slips away. Moving out of sight, out of reach, you need to see the real. And as they slip away, becoming so unreal, unreal. You just gotta listen to the night as you're going up the stairs. You just gotta listen to the night and don't forget to say your prayers. Brushing my lips and the tips of my primitive soul. As you look through my door, deep into my room, can you feel the mighty wall? It's waiting in the room. The distant shadows of champions, those who live in steel, and will rise when we challenge and heal. Born again, we are born again. Look at this Prince of Evil, fighting for your mind, fighting all priests of shame. For the thrust of my challenge is aimed at the heart of mutant gods and people all the same. They're controlling our minds. As you look through my window, as I settle down. It's not true, well maybe half and half. You know I love you, but I still like to laugh. Oh, feeling fine. I got it right for the first time. Sweet woman, I can't stay for long. Everybody will be fooled around the cell. Keep it warm, rats. The place by your side.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, Reading. How you going? All right. Cheers. We got some new stuff and some old stuff. Here's one. You're going to know it's a thing called War Pigs. Thank you. Generals gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerers of best construction. In the fields the bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed mind. Politicians hide themselves away. They only started the war. Why should they know how to fight? They leave that all to the poor. Time will tell on their power minds, waging war just for fun, treating people just like pawns in chess, waiting till judgment day comes. Darkness world stops turning, ashes where the body's burning. No more war pigs have the power, hand of God has struck the hour. Day of judgment, God is calling, on the knees the war pigs crawling. falling, begging mercy for their sins. Satan laughing spreads his wings. Thank you. Thank you. This is Black Sabbath. What is this that stands before me? Figure in black, which points at me. Turn round quick and start to run. Find out I'm the chosen one. Satan sitting there, he's smiling. Watches those flames get higher and higher. Satan's coming round again. People running 'cause they're scared. People, you better go everywhere. Thank you! Yeah! Yeah! You're amazing, we haven't changed. Here's another new song. This is about one of our heroes. It's called Zero the Hero. Thank you. song from the new album. Here's one. This is the 23rd festival. It it will not be the last. Iron Man.